The meal kit Excel model is a supplementary tool in addition to the PowerPoint materials that should help give a little bit more color to what are some of the financial considerations for launching a meal kit model as part of your restaurant. It should be used as a directional way to play around with some of the assumptions around what types of price or what number of units would I need to sell and what types of profit margins would I need to earn on each unit to actually make this a profitable venture for me and my business. Again, the meal kit model isn't for everyone, so this should be used as a way to play around and get a sense of what might make sense. How this model is structured is there are a number of cells in tan, here, for example, that are assumptions that you can tweak to make it relevant for your individual business. There is no one size fits all model. Overall, how this model works is we have you here in this section called the fixed cost section, have you insert some of the main costs that your business faces. These can be ballpark, as I know many people do not actually have the specific numbers available to their business at this time. But the important thing is to have them in the right realm as you explore this as a possibility, because ultimately you'll input things like your labor costs here, your total operating costs, so things like rent, permits, marketing, point of sale systems, whatever else is important for your business to run. The total cost of goods sold, so all of the raw ingredients, for example, that go into your final products that you're delivering out, to get a sense of what are kind of the total fixed costs that don't change based on the number of units sold to your business. And so if you take that, what we are saying is what percentage of your business could you potentially be moving towards meal kit? So it's a hypothetical situation, but if you can put yourself in kind of the shoes of yourself in the future, if you're considering launching a meal kit, what percentage of your business would you want that to be? So right now it's plugged in as 25%. A good proxy for a way to think about this is how much of your time and energy do you plan to devote to meal kit? And basically the underlying assumption here is if you put 25%, how this model is going to work is it's going to say that 25% of these fixed costs need to be covered by your meal kit business as opposed to whatever other lines of business that you're offering. So you can tweak around with these assumptions, which will then flow through to some of the tables below. As we scroll down, we've structured this into two options. So option one here will have you be able to tweak selling price and gross profit margins to understand what are the total number of units you will need to sell to make this profitable. This is one way of viewing the equation. So right now, again, these cells and tans are the ones that you can change. So here, what we have placed for now is if you are expecting to sell meal kits for $20 and your estimated gross profit is 22%. And so that would be something that you can ballpark calculate by taking the price and then factoring out how much are the ingredients that you're putting into the meal, how much do those cost, what are the packaging and delivery costs, and try to understand what is the percentage left over that is basically going into your pocket and can contribute to the fixed costs that we talked about above. And so assuming that these are your assumptions after you've placed them in, here in cell H34, it will input the total number, this will auto-calculate, this will be the total number of units that you need to sell to make the meal kit model profitable. So this number, which is about 1,200, is basically saying if you're selling your meal kits for $20 and you're making on average 22% gross profit for those, you need to sell 1,200 units every month to basically break even and make $0 that are going towards into your final pocket, but you are covering that portion of your fixed costs. So understanding that, you know, these numbers are not always readily available for entrepreneurs or people with their own businesses, we have what we would call a sensitivity table here. So on the y-axis, we have put what are the different selling prices that you might sell your meal kit for. And on the x-axis here, we have put what are the different profit margins that you could be earning on these. And so how you can interpret this table is, let's take this example, this 576 number that is highlighted. This is basically saying that if you were to sell your meal kits at $30 per meal kit and at a 30% profit margin, you would need to sell 576 to again break even before profit starts going into your pocket, but you are covering your fixed costs with that portion of it. We have also structured this into option number 2, which takes a look from a slightly different lens, understanding that it might be difficult to understand what type of profit margin you could be earning. And so we're looking at it in the reverse way. So here we'll have you input your expected selling price for each meal kit again. And then here, your expected monthly number of meal kit sales. If you have a sense of the demand for your product or the demand in your region for if you were to launch a meal kit model, you can play around with this and see, if you change that around, what is the gross margin that you will need to earn so that you can actually structure your meal kit and its ingredients and packaging and delivery model that you use to make sure that you actually are making money on this. And so what this 22% means is if you were to be selling at $20 per meal kit and you were to sell 1,200 meal kits, you would need a 22% gross margin. Again, we have structured this into what we would call a sensitivity table. And so this time on the y-axis, we have the total number of monthly sales. And then on the x-axis, again, we have the price per unit. And so again, you can interpret this 17% number that we've highlighted as the gross margin that you would need to break even profitability-wise on selling $25 meal kits and selling 1,200 of those a month.